Good evening. And if you're just tuning in, you are listening, listening to 105.3 out of Mississippi and 107.7 out of the beautiful city of New Orleans, Louisiana. And this is UFO Paranormal and United Public Radio Network. And this is the Angel Rock. And I'm your host, Lorilei Potvin. I go through my little bit of housekeeping and messages here, but we have a returning guest. I know he's going to wait patiently, but we got Chris Laterreur back. And yeah, I know you guys have been waiting for him. So hang tight there while I go through all of our little goodies here. So I'm a Canadian psychic medium, crystal Reiki energy healer. I'm a Akashic Records practitioner, spiritual teacher, and mentor. I'm a registered nurse. I'm a budding, because I'm still not as good as Miss Julie Jean Bassett. I'm sure she'll pop up in the chat. She usually does, and I give her a shout out. I'm well versed in near-death experiences, having studied them over 40 plus years professionally and personally, and I've had one as a toddler myself. I'm extremely well versed in the paranormal. I always say I didn't go looking for it; it found me. Strangeness and weirdness, and our guest Chris, we're going to go over a little bit of a story tonight. I'm going to read his bio in just a sec, but yeah, he's had strangeness and weirdness all around him since childhood too. But we've shared our story in the previously haunted house that we lived in on the Travel Channel's Paranormal Survivor. It's season 4, episode 9. It's called the Demonic Hauntings. You can actually find it on YouTube. And I think it's on Netflix and a couple other places. And yes, I hope you'll check it out. Now, I have a big announcement. Most of you know, because it was kind of last moment last Thursday. But we have a new show that I am doing on Thursday nights with the amazing Ms. Carrie Lynn Shellhorn, who is host of her own show here on the network on Fridays, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And that's Spirit Switchboard. Our new show is called Beneath the Hollow Moon. And we got a great show planned for you guys Monday night, all about weird, crazy, spooky stuff with the moon. And I hope you'll join us because it's going to be a lot of fun. So if you guys like what you see, please like, share, and subscribe. Tell all your friends and family. We really do have something for everybody on the network. It's not all just UFO and paranormal. That's why we have 2 names, UFO Paranormal and United Public Radio Network. So there's a story behind it, but I'm sure you've heard it before, but that's why we have 2 names. So 80% of our audience is audio only. So I say, if you can't see us, you can't join the conversation. We would love to have you join the conversation. I see Z Sun Dragon in the chat, or Kevin. We'd love to have him. He's a big supporter of our network, goes to a lot of our different shows, because we do stream multiple shows live daily, 7 days a week. And when we're not streaming live, the archive server kicks into the last 25 plus years. And he's just said, hi, Chris, from Kevin. And it randomly picks a show. So we really are live 24/7 on, we have a website, which is actually uprntalkradio.com. So you can listen to us on there if you want. But if you want to join the conversation, because I know if I'm watching a live show, sometimes I got questions and I want to ask, about the content that's there. But if you're listening, you can't join us. Like I said, we do broadcast to every country in the world, believe it or not. So how you can join the conversation, I'll go through quickly. You can go to my Facebook profile, Lorilei Potvin, the network's Facebook, which is UFO Paranormal and United Public Radio Network. My LinkedIn under the Angel Rock, the network's now main YouTube channel, which is UFO Gods and Extraterrestrials. My YouTube, which is the Angel Rock with Lorilei Potvin, network Twitch channel under the same name, UFO Paranormal. And then we are on Instagram. Now, sometimes Instagram kicks out. Sometimes it stays for the 2 hours. Sometimes it doesn't. Now, they don't put your comments back up on the screen like everybody all filing in now. We're glad to have you here. So if it cuts off in the middle of it, just head over to YouTube with one of the names I've given you, and you'll be able to join the conversation still. And if you guys watch us on TV, the network does have a TV channel. And I hear we are also on Amazon as well, too, now. But you can also join the channel. It's on Roku. And you're going to the channel store. You're going to type in UFO and space P as in paranormal. There's a drop-down list. We're about the 3rd or 4th one down. You're looking for UFO, Paranormal, and United Public Radio. And that's how you can join us. I think I told you everything I wanted to tell you. I was on podcasting. Oh, happy Easter, by the way, to anybody who celebrates. Also, I was on the network quite a bit last week. I was on Monday, Thursday. I was only girl joining the boys on Oh God, news on the flip side. I had Joe Show, owner of the network, Joe Montaldo, and then the boys all have a chat on Saturdays, 7:30 p.m. So I joined them there. There was Jay, and we had Sean Kelly, and Michael Angley, and Joe Montaldo, and I even convinced Carrie Lynn to pop in and join us. So we added a little girl energy to the conversation, but it got quite funny and yeah, we had a lot of fun. So I hope you guys will join that. That happens every week on Friday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern and 7:30 Eastern. And I might just pop in again. I don't know. We'll see. So let's get to my guest here, and then we'll say hi to everybody. So give me a sec. I got to go over to his bio. I have this all written down here. Okay, let me see. There we go. So our guest tonight is Chris Laterreur. And I gotta put my glasses on because I'm blind without them. I wish I didn't have to wear them, but that's what happens. So Chris is a fellow bilingual Canadian and author of the book Terror at Montauk: The Last Moments of Camp Heroes MK Ultra Wildest Experiment, known as the Montauk Boys, which interestingly was instantly banned the minute it was listed on sale on Amazon. Now we were talking before we went live. I am sure, I think I may have seen it, but we checked. I couldn't find it. I'll have to check if it was the US store because it's not supposed to be there, right, Chris?
No. I got banned the next morning, like banned for life. The book also.
And even shopping on the network, you told me.
Yeah.
You can't even, on Amazon, you can't even shop, right?
Yeah. So.
Well, let me tell them the rest of So if you've ever watched the series Stranger Things on Netflix, you don't want to miss the rest. This is episode 3 with Chris on here. We got lots to talk about to hear his real life personal account of the terrifying experiences he went through as a child. And you believe that, and I believe you too, that the series Stranger Things was actually based on what you went through and other children at camp, right?
Yeah.
So, and I just said that, and I said, and we're going to talk about all kinds of stuff tonight, and where the conversation goes. So, welcome back, Chris.
Thanks.
Let me say hi. Sorry.
Thanks for having me again here on your show. Yeah.
I love having you. I told you, I was telling everybody you were coming on. Everybody was excited. Like lots of our regular crew here were going, good. Chris is coming back. So let's say hi. Like I said, we said hi to Kevin or Z-Sun Dragon, and he said, hi, Chris. Michelle Wilfong's here. And we usually stream to TikTok. And I was working on that before the show because my little hack isn't working. For some reason, I got restricted on TikTok. I don't have a strike. I don't have anything, but it's for 30 days. And then we're coming up to the 30-day period. So we should be back on TikTok. The reason I mention that is Michelle Wilfong says, good afternoon from the Pacific Northwest in Oregon. And she is my mod over on TikTok. She's amazing. She does such a great job. I'm so appreciative of her. And you guys check out her TikTok channel because she lives in a haunted apartment and has crazy stuff going on in that apartment. We've got Julia Evans, says evening from the UK. Thanks for joining us, Julia. I know it's to everybody, but I know it's late over there. So thank you. We got Mish. I love to tease her all the time. I call her my birthday twin. Her birthday's August 14th and mine's the 15th. But with the time difference, I say we're almost equal. And she's over in Australia, so I always say she's over in the future. It's Tuesday morning over there. Who else we got here? Everybody saying hi to another. We got Kathy Hanley Little. I haven't seen you in a while, Kathy. Welcome back. She's saying hi to everybody. Let's see. That's what I love about our chat. We have the most intelligent, kind people in our chats. We really, really do. They're kind to people that just happen to pop into the chat and have never seen the show or whatever, and it's a safe space for everybody here. I love that. We got Lisa Martinello saying good evening. Well, hello there. You're new to my show, but I met you on Joe's show on both the shows on Friday night and Saturday. This is Kurt. He says, hey everybody, glad I could make it here. Hope all is having a great Monday. Welcome. We're glad you could join me over here. Let's see. We're almost at the bottom of the list. Yep, we are. Everybody's just putting bunnies in the chat and stuff. So how you been, Chris?
I've been okay. Yeah. Okay. Just like keep on like with the book. Like it's being edited. So like should be like released and printed. Like we're trying to change a bit of things so that we can find a printer that's gonna like take the project on, and like because like nobody wants to get involved with my book. Like it's like
We might have to talk after. I may know of somebody that may. I don't know. I don't speak for them, but I know they do print unusual books that put information out like that. So remind me after the show. We'll have to talk
yeah,
about that.
yeah.
Oh, let's see. Kurt says, "Yep, I was in the chat, always listening to the Sean. So this sounds interesting. I'm glad to be here. We're glad to have you, Kurt." And Kathy says, "I needed a break to work on my spiritual journey, and that is perfectly okay. You got to take care of yourself first, right? You got to fill up your own cup before you start pouring it out, and then before you know it, you're on empty. So good for you, Kathy. I'm glad that you did. So for people who haven't met Chris before, uh, do you want to give them a little synopsis of what we're talking about and why?"
Yeah, sure. I was like part of a MK Ultra project in Montreal, like that was done in the Great Montreal and everywhere in the States, and like, but yeah, it's uh, well known in Montreal for the Allen Memorial Hospital, and like because like that's the CIA hospital in
And
Montreal.
McGill
Yeah, that's it.
University.
That's the place.
Mhm.
So yeah, like I have a file there and all, and yeah, like I'm a survivor of like the famous, infamous Montauk place, the Camp Hero,
Mhm.
where everything happened. That like like the legends of like that inspired Stranger Things and all. That's like our story. So yeah,
Yeah, so if I remember correctly, and please correct me if I'm not wrong. So Chris was a young child. I believe you were at a job fair, career fair day
yeah,
at school, and I think they represented themselves as being the police, like different police forces, right? And you brought some pamphlets home. There
yeah,
was some deals kind of made. I, your parent, your mom was aware apparently,
yeah,
and so you ended up at Camp Hero. And if I remember correctly, too, you didn't stay there all the time. You kind of went for periods, but you
yeah.
weren't allowed to tell your mother what happened there, right?
No, like anything that was happening during the project, we had to keep it for ourselves. And
Mhm.
like like the parents weren't allowed to ask us questions either. Like that was the deal when we signed up, and we
If I
knew it.
remember you, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, but if I remember you saying before that your mom was basically told that you were going to be put in this enrichment program, it was going to make sure that you had this great future, you were going to be
Yeah,
taught all these skills that would really, really help you move, really excel as you grew older in life,
yeah.
right? Hmm.
Like my brain would like through the light traumas and like that my brain would be all synchronized, like 100% of the brain would work, like compared to like normal people don't have 50% of their brain like working, but like
I think you're being generous because I know I've learned like anywhere from 10 to 20% the only use of our brains.
yeah, yeah, I know, that's why that's what I'm saying, but yeah, like so they were like aiming on the like I would be a genius, and like I had like abilities, and like like I was meant for that, and so yeah, a big show to recruit, like, and they did this to a bunch of other kids too, like and it, like the job fair was like it was like the military and the cops in the same booths, but like the other booths were all trades, regular trades, but like this one had guns and like like the the real deal. So yeah, like that's how they recruited people. With that's the promise they made to our parents, to because like not a parent that would know what was really going on would let their kids go there. Like it's a nonsense.
Nobody would send their
No,
kids.
no,
We're going to touch a little bit on that. And if you're okay, I know you're pretty open and you've been on a lot of different podcasts, but for people that maybe back in the day, I'm going to be 60 in August. So I remember this as a little kid. There was a book out by the name of Sybil. And it was a big thing. I remember the 70s, all the adults were talking about multiple personality disorder. Well, it's no longer called multiple personality disorder is called dissociative identity disorder. And people never really understood how something like that could happen. But
Yeah.
it's the absolute abuse and terror and unthinkable things that are done to children. So you start to disassociate, right? And then that's how they start to do the programming to create alters.
Yeah. Yeah, everybody has that it's like a protection mechanism for
Mhm.
everybody. Like when you're in like something living something like a hard trauma or something, like the body dissociates, like you're creating an alter to like like deal cope with this
Mhm.
situation. But they were like using like those trauma to create alters like that, and they were programming those alters. And after, like, they were just like with the help of hypnose and like drugs and putting like like we never lived anything, but like this is all like programmed in us to come out in certain situation and certain events, code like ultra low frequency sounds that activates
It
us.
can activate an alter or a
Yeah.
personality, and then you might not even have a memory of it afterwards, right?
Yeah, you don't like you don't you the memories are looks like dreams. Like when you get memories of like those events, it looks like a dream.
Well,
But
I
like,
can say I can agree with you. I don't have DID, but I had something extremely, extremely, extremely as well traumatic done to me as a young child. And I always kind of knew something, but I didn't. And then as I started to hit my late 30s, um, right up to about a few years ago, I started getting flashbacks. And I know we've talked about it, and it seems like a dream. Like it seems like it didn't happen.
surreal.
You're there kind of watching it, right? But it's you, but it's not you kind of thing.
Yeah,
Hmm.
like it's like a mix of like you're watching yourself acting like kind of like the choice you make, and it's yeah like
And
and
knowing
you,
I would never do something like this can't be me, or nobody would ever do something to me like this, like especially what you went through as a child.
yeah, like it's a nonsense. And like especially that like when they're done like all those trauma, they program frame of thoughts that like you stay in that. And like like in my case it was I had the nicest childhood. I went twice to
Yeah, so
Disney.
you thought that's what you had, right?
So yeah, but like those memories weren't fitting with that. Like I was like, SRA memories were bad, like so like like what the fuck is going on? So that's why like at some point like it was getting overwhelming on my everyday life. So like I had to like consult with regression hypnose
Yeah.
and like figure out like if because like I was wondering, am I going crazy? Like because like they make it so like you think you're going crazy because everything is so crazy about it. So yeah, like but once you go past the crazy and dig into it and like do like the regression hypnose, and oh wow, like
Yeah,
this
but you
is
have to unpack it, and then you got to process this,
process it.
and then
Yeah.
you relive the trauma all over again as
Yeah.
you are unpacking it and processing it, right?
Each time you think about those moments or things that are really like the bad, because it wasn't all bad, but like yeah, there's stuff that like yeah, crazy.
Yeah, and we've talked about that. So for anybody listening, if you go back, I know they'd be on the network. They might be on the network channel because we now have a regular another main channel. That's hopefully we get our other one back. But on my channel on YouTube, and I don't have a big YouTube channel, so it's not like I'm promoting it. I mainly use it just for backing up shows. You will see Chris has got the background of his book there, and I also use that as the thumbnail. You'll see there's other episodes and you can go back. We just wanted to give people a little idea of what he's gone through. And believe me, we haven't even barely micro scratch the surface. That's why you need to buy his book too,
Yeah.
because we're going to talk about that. Because Chris is, and by the end of the show, we're going to talk about his book because he's not keeping all the proceeds to his book as well. But Kathy has a question for you. She says, Chris, are you in touch with others that were in the program?
Oh yeah, like I have a bunch of friends that we all met in this. Like like we're friends since we're like 6, 7 years old. Like we met in this recruitment the program through those like appointments and all. That's how we met, and we're still buddies today. And I know a lot of people. Like I was in a school like that was bought by the CIA, and
You have a
in-
CIA number. Like if you guys go to Chris's Substack as well, and we'll remind you at the end of the show, you got a lot of information on your Substack too.
oh yeah, like because we
Mhm.
all had like those other IDs when we graduated, like from the Monarch project, because like the Montauk boys were just like a part of the Monarch project, uh, not everybody was going to Montauk doing those tests, like no, not like all the same tests for everyone. So yeah,
And a lot didn't survive, you said either.
oh yeah, like Montauk, like only 1% of the kids went there, like made it out, and yeah, like a lot died, or like it just like got crazy from like the
Well, this is a
torture
trigger
and like,
warning too, but you've talked about this before. Like these young children, including Chris, were kept in cages in their underwear and being exposed to ice cold water being hosed down and all kinds of horrible things you watched because we got to be careful on YouTube here, but you watched one of the children you knew very well in the next cage over literally losing his life and his blood basically being harvested for certain things.
yeah. Well, this kid I didn't know him, but I knew like he was like in front of my buddy Steve, that like I was like always like paired up with him for most of the tests.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, like and Steve didn't make it out for too
Oh.
long after this event. Like
Mhm.
he off
Well, there's
himself.
also sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I just I
Like,
got a bit of a delay, but the one thing I thought about that we haven't touched on too, because I've said to you before we went live, I used to be on another network, and the Angel Rock was actually between Monday to Friday. Then it went down, took a break, and then I love where I am now, going being on 6 years here at UPRN. So I've talked about these topics for a long time. And one of the things I found is part of the Monarch programming, depending on what they do, they also program that the adults will self delete, if you will, like take
yeah,
their own lives.
yeah.
Have you seen that too, Chris?
Oh yeah. Like at a certain point, like yeah, it's we don't we all it's a bit like the sex kitten like
Oh
function. It's
yeah,
like
what you're
basic.
reading my mind because I was just thinking of that, bringing that up.
It's a bit like basics of MK Ultra that like everybody goes through, but like not all to the same level. Like because like as much as like you're recruited and they ask you in which field you want to go, and they decide like with your aptitude, and at the end of the day they're the boss, like and yeah, so
Yeah, so it depends, like you said, what they find you're proficient and very good at, and then
yeah,
they decide on, I think, probably what you look like too,
yeah,
because the one thing that I think you handled really well the last time you were on here, and I didn't get a chance to tell you this. There was a woman in the chat, and then we're going to go through a few of the comments, guys. And she said that she was a woman that was at Camp Hero as a little girl,
yeah,
and I believe Chris because Chris has never changed his story. The first night I had him on, somebody had introduced me to you, and we talked for about 5 hours. You met
yeah,
my partner, Dell. We talked. You have never changed your story. You've been very, very consistent. But
all
I
right.
love the way that you handled the woman that was in the chat. Do you remember that?
Not sure, but yeah, like
No.
yeah,
I'll remind you because I was so impressed because you said, actually, I've run into quite a few women who have said that they also were part of the MK Ultra program at Camp Hero in Montauk, but that you never saw any women. Do you
Yeah, the
remember?
times I was there, I didn't see any. Like
Mhm.
even like when we got all brought to the military trucks and after transferred to the bus, there weren't any girls with us there. Like we were all
You
boys. Like
did see a world leader, and I wouldn't have brought that up, except I heard on another podcast that you mentioned what world leader you seen as a child there. I don't know if you're comfortable or not, but you did see one. You didn't mix with him, but he was dropped off, right?
yeah, like in one of the appointment,
Hmm.
he was the appointment before me, so with Dr. Green, so
Hmm.
yeah.
So just so you guys know, and that's somebody that was running a country. I won't say what one. If he's Chris is comfortable, if he's not, that's okay.
Oh yeah, I don't mind. Like
Oh, then tell him who it is, Chris.
yeah, like Trudeau, yeah, the
Justin
family,
Trudeau.
yeah,
Mhm.
the family Trudeau was involved in this, like he was the appointment right before me, like with Dr. Green, and this is a World War II guy, I won't say the name or whatever, but
Just
yeah,
say what you're
like
comfortable saying. Mhm.
so like
But he was young, right? Like you were. Like
yeah, he
he
was
was.
a kid, and yeah, he was like with his dad and like two drivers and a big limousine, and yeah, like
I
uh,
got to ask you a question I never asked you. If you're not comfortable answering it, it's okay. Do you think, because there were three Trudeau sons, was it? It's not Sasha, it's Michel. I think that went missing. They've never been able to find him. Do you think that he may have been the sacrifice to? Yeah, that's what I was wondering too.
yeah, it's like they're really into like the Trudeaus are really into this the DMK, like it's from the mom, from the dad, from
The dad's been mentioned, like Fiona Barnett, I think her name is, from
yeah,
Australia, has openly come out and she was a victim of this and something else called
and
SRA. Kathy,
Kathy
yeah,
O'Brien was saying the same thing also,
with
that
Pierre, yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
and yeah, that's Pierre that was with him at the appointment, and like so yeah, those are people that were like really in the project, and yeah, I don't care about them.
Well, me neither, but I think it's important that people hear this
Yeah,
because, you know, I've said this to other people in other countries that may not realize this. In Canada, we could be stuck with a world leader or prime minister forever. His dad, Pierre Elliott Trudeau, was in power for, I think, 27, 28 years. And I think he was also a big part of what happened with McGill University and okaying. And like you said, where you were in, it was Montreal, right?
yeah,
That
the Great Montreal area, yeah.
so he was a part of that and allowing it. So it gave me a little empathy in a way that when I heard you say this privately, I've never brought it up, but I know you, I had heard, I forget who I was talking to because you've been on a lot of podcasts and I'm glad because this needs to get out there. And they had said that you had mentioned about Justin Trudeau, and it gave me a little bit more empathy with the fact that everything isn't what we think it is when we see it, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
He's probably like as much as he's an asshole,
Mhm.
he's probably not guilty of half of it because he's
Yeah.
being like manipulated. He's like a robot, and like
Mhm.
it's easy to see. Like you see, just during like the pandemic, the first few times he was like being interviewed, you see the reaction, the monarch like reaction of like
Yeah, that kind of flat affect, it's called. So he's there, but his eyes, he almost wasn't
yeah,
looking,
just not
and this kind of
there, like yeah.
so
So that's something that like it's easy to recognize like somebody that went to like those. That's easy clue, from like people that went through MK, and most of the president people are in power have been through MK too. Like it's not all
mhm,
Montauk boys,
mhm.
uh, but
A lot of Hollywood, like you said, sex kittens.
yeah,
Mhm.
it's yeah, we all have that basic training of to please, and it's to be spies. That's the, you gotta use your everything you have, and like like that's one of them. So yeah.
There's a lot more people coming out now and speaking about it. So this just doesn't happen in North America. Now, I know they say it doesn't exist anymore. I will leave it up to anybody, if this resonates with you, to do some research. Please don't just use Google. There's other things to look at, because believe it or not, Google can be very, as many search engines can be, very easily manipulated. Now, the one thing I did want to say for people that didn't understand what I said about a sacrifice, that this can be part of, as you climb, I'm going to say the food chain, because it kind of is, higher up and more power, right? You end up usually having to sacrifice a loved one. And you don't have to do it with your own hands, but you have, I don't know if people have or not. I didn't dig that deep into it, but I know there have been professional athletes, there have been really well-known musicians and bands and things where their loved ones, somebody mysterious happens to them, right?
Yeah, it's like
Mm-hmm.
a lot goes with sacrifice, in those rituals. So like, yeah, like, and it's
Yeah,
not
there's,
always through a knife. Like, it can be like, just through the depth. Like, creating events, or yeah. So like, but the SRA part, that's one of the way they're doing it. So,
I wanted to read a few comments here. So Kurt says, yeah, I've seen and heard of a bunch of stars or gifted, yeah, star or gifted early education programs, but don't see too much anymore, and always wondered what happened to those places. You don't hear of them too much anymore. I would say they're just getting better at hiding it, but what's your thoughts, Chris?
well, actually, this week I fell on a post that were talking about the few schools that were teaching actually what the psychic powers that, like they were making us train a part of it anyway, that I saw.
Mhm.
Um in schools that are, so like it's like the CIA schools like that I was going through, like financed by the CIA school. You won't see
Mhm.
CIA there, like, officially with a sign, like, probably not. But yeah, there must be around, and just like following those kids and like recruiting like them, and like, bringing them to other programs that are not done to school, like the school part was super nice, but when they were bringing us to elsewhere, like that's where, like, and it's still going on, and like uh there's a documentary on this, like on Tubby, I think Superhuman Powers or something like that, and it's all about like, those schools, like, what what they're teaching in those schools, and like I was looking at this and like, wow, like so many similar things, like from the project that they're using in those schools.
You
And
know
like
what kind of
it's just in a
school?
2 hour documentary, so like, it's probably all the same thing, and like they're just recruiting from those school, and now it's like easier for them. Like, I don't know, like we got to stop this, because the school part, like I say, is nice, but like it's the, wait, we'll bring him to do some tests and like, other stuff. That's the stuff, like, yeah, like no kids deserve this. So
Well,
yeah.
I've really thought about this since, like I say, I've talked about this for a long time, but since I've met you, um, when I was 6 years old, I remember I was reading textbooks, okay, and I they spoke to my parents and they wanted to put me in a special program that would have put me 3 years ahead. And thank God my parents said no. But I have told you since I've met you since day one, for about the last 15 years, whenever I hear the word Montauk, it triggers something in me. And we've talked about this off air. I don't have any memories of being there. I don't believe I was there. But you said, because especially with me using the abilities as a psychic medium, that maybe I was tapping in If I remember, that's what you were thinking, right? You shared with me that maybe
Yeah,
I was.
because like there's so many vibes there from that place, because so many things went on there. Like like it was like for over 10 years, like like kids like being brought there like daily by. So yeah,
I
like
didn't even know what Montauk was. I can remember asking one of my mentors years ago. I keep getting Montauk and I keep hearing Montauk. That's kind of what got me into this
yeah,
because I didn't know where it was coming from. Like I'd never heard this word. And it really, when I say triggered, it's not like it caused an emotion. It was like it felt and sounded almost familiar, but I didn't know what it was and why it kept, I'd hear it and it was like,
triggering something. Yeah,
I didn't know what it was. Like I say, so that's what led me down that path. I remember asking one of my mentors, she goes, I have no clue. And she even tried to tap in psychically. She didn't pick anything up. And it was driving me crazy. So I remember I did some research and I dug deeper and deeper and deeper. And I'd known about some of these things, but I'd never really known about Montauk. And that's what really kind of drove me to find out more and more about this. I'm going to read a few more comments here. So Curtis says, I heard that trauma creates like a separate consciousness, I think he's saying, that makes your senses very heightened, but creates like a block also that you don't remember too much, like your mind is in fight or flight. What's your thoughts on that, Chris?
yeah, like those altars. Like he's talking about altars. Yeah, when they generate through trauma, like those altars, like it's not stuff you remember really. Like you remember like flash, like if you had an accident a bit, like like you got an accident in the car, like the next day or two, like it's like blocks of like memories, like parts of it, or yeah, it's a bit like that. So yeah,
Especially what was concerning, like you mentioned, if your trigger or you've been trained to react to an ultra low frequency, there
yeah,
may be nobody else hearing it but you, right? And then you're activated. It's kind of
yeah.
scary.
Oh
Hmm.
yeah, yeah. So
So,
that's like
Kathy, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
we're robots. Like honestly, like we're robots. Like they have a book, a manual for each of us with different codes, and like us, we're not operating on the same levels, or so like yeah, we're like yeah, the prototypes, like they have like manuals for us. So yeah.
So, Kathy, or hi, Connie. Connie's here. She says, hello, Lorilei and Chris. So, Kathy has a question. We were going to try and get into this a little bit. So, Chris talked about psychic abilities, he's talked about remote viewing. We were going to talk, and then we kind of went in a different direction last time, and that was okay because we like to go where people want to talk and what they want to talk about. But there was a Montauk chair, and Kathy is asking, Chris, did you experience the chair, the Montauk chair?
Oh yeah, I went like a few times on it, like 4 or 5 times. Yeah.
Can you explain it though for people that never heard of this or have no idea what we're talking about? What is it? What's a Montauk chair? What's the purpose? Where did it come from? Anything you can add so that
Yeah.
people might be able to understand this a little better.
The legends of the Montauk chairs are that it got like they got it from the Roswell the incident in 1947, and
That's
yeah,
where they got it from
yeah,
Roswell?
that's the legends of the Montauk chair, like to where it came from, like it always goes to there.
Hmm.
So yeah, and I personally went on it, and like the technology was way too advanced for like 1980. Like
Hmm.
from like thinking of something and it was appearing as an hologram in front of you, and like
So whatever you thought of, like it would appear like a hologram in front of
yeah,
you?
yeah, like small items. Like in my case, I thought of a alarm clock, like a little radio, and like a gun, and like the both time appears as an hologram, like floating under that little table that they were bringing for that. Yeah,
So,
it's
so did you learn to manipulate or work the chair, or what did you use it for, or was it just used for training for you?
it was like it was more like a setup to send us for different missions, like
Oh,
few
now you got
times.
to tell them about the missions because this is where I wanted to go and we didn't. So tell people what's a
Yeah.
mission? Where did you go?
Well, like they were like giving us tasks like to like explore time or like the main one that I remember is like going to I had to go and open my gateway. So and so I was like like going through a portal. Like they were installing like a purple portal in front of us on the chair. Like we're sitting on the chair. Okay, let's start from the beginning because people will
Okay,
lose. But yeah, like first we were sitting on the chair. They were like hooking us up with like a bunch of plugs and like a
like
little hat with
electrodes,
like
like
sent
electrodes all
electrodes.
over.
Yeah,
Okay. Mhm.
and like a mask, and they were making us breathe. It was a new flower they just discovered in the Everglades in the 1980s, and I'm talking 1983. Like, so
Wow.
it was a ghost orchid.
Oh, ghost org. I've seen that so many times recently, and I wondered what that was. That it keeps coming up, like, and I'm not looking for it. But continue, please.
Yeah, so a ghost orchid, like, and it was like a floating flower, AP, I don't know, yeah, like, and like this flower was like it didn't need to be in the water, like in dirt. To like it was a floating flower and it was growing like that.
So
So
it'd be anaerobic, I guess, right?
yeah,
Because we've seen ferns like that. Have you ever seen fern plants? They almost look like moss, and they don't need soil, they don't need water, but they
that's it.
will grow. Mhm.
That's it.
Okay.
So yeah, that's the thing they were making us the vapors of that anyway in the mask. That's what they were saying, and yeah, they were installing a catheter on us because we were going to like for a few hours. So and like they were installing this purple portal in front of us to like astral project through it, and yeah,
Because
we're talking 1983, so like
Okay, so Kathy's asking, but I'm going to add to something quickly. So I have missing time.
yeah,
Like I've talked about this before many times. Joe Montaldo has International Center for Alien Research. He was ancient aliens, all kinds of things to do with ufology and off-world, life. And he's been doing a 20 plus year study on Rh negative blood, green eyes, and red hair because it didn't exist before 70,000 years ago in the human being's genetic DNA profile.
yeah.
So where did it come from? So he asks people, have you seen a lot of UFOs? Have you had an experience with something off world, whatever it may be? Now, I don't have those attributes. My mother has all three of them, doesn't believe in any of this stuff. So I had often wondered, I was very tired. I took the car. I only should have been gone 3 minutes. I've lived in the city my whole life. I closed my eyes. All of a sudden, I hear my phone ringing and I open my eyes. I'm miles away from where I had been at the lights, closed, like just blinking, and my phone's ringing. It's my partner Dal saying, like, "Where the heck are you? Like, you've been gone an hour and a half. I thought you got in an accident or something." And I
Missing
had to say,
times.
"Yeah," I said, "I don't know. I don't know." And he's going, "What do you mean you don't know?" I was surprised I could even get cell service, and I still remember my car was in the opposite direction to the way I was going, and there was this half moon building. I've never seen it. Like I even had some of these rural areas when I was a community visiting nurse, and
Yeah,
it was vacated, and the windows were all broken out. Like I've never seen the building before again. I don't know how I ended up there. So what was your thoughts? Like, what do you think happened?
yeah, you got missing times there. Like
Like, do you think it was a time jump? Because I've had people say it was a time slip, like maybe I time jumped, or I'm just interested in what your thoughts are with
yeah,
your whole.
like I'm not like I wouldn't affirm or anything like because I don't have enough of it to
I
tell
didn't
you.
see any UFOs. I didn't see any
Yeah,
UFOs. I didn't see. I've seen a lot of UFOs in the last couple of years. And
Yeah.
I'm not saying they're alien related. It's unidentified microscopic flying objects that I've filmed, like little red lights, and even Dell's seen them himself. Like, so I know it's not just me going crazy. Julie
Yeah.
Jean Bassett, who's usually here, one night she sent me in November a snapshot of the full moon, for example, and she said, "Is that something?" And there was a little green spot, and I said, "Well, you know what? Always film something too, right? Because then you can see what's going on." So I went out to film the moon, and she was filming it, and I brought it in and I showed Dell originally. And he goes, "That's a lens flare." And I go, "No, lens flares are usually white." He goes, "I'm telling you, it's a lens flare." So I went outside. Sure enough, it was a lens flare. So I was messaging Julie back, voice messaging, and I'm going, "Holy crap! Holy crap! I gotta get off here. I gotta film this." And I'm getting goosebumps as I'm telling you. This red light was like zooming all over the place, and I sent it to Julie. And at first she couldn't see it, and then when she blew it up, she could see it too.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know if it was UFO. I've had people tell me it's a time slip. I don't know what happened because I don't remember. So I
Yeah.
just wanted
Yeah.
to
It's
ask.
funny because like I have a video of probably 5, 6, 8 years maybe probably now.
Mhm.
Uh, we were seeing a red light that was like too high to be a spotlight or something like that in our
Mhm.
area. Okay,
Yeah.
and like it was there for almost a week and like not
Ah,
moving and like like so high like and like so at some point we went
yes.
and like to see like what's under that, like is there like to be and like we took pictures
Mhm.
of the red light, and now I still have those pictures and a video, and we don't see the red light anymore.
I'm gonna have to compare them with mine because I was telling Joe about this on Friday night when we were on the panel on his news channel, News on the Flip Side, right? And he says to me, "That sounds like somebody's watching you." I said, "Hmm," because they're so high up. And then I had my partner in the background, the one I took, it was about a week ago. He's going, "That's a plane." I'm going, "Would you stop talking? It's not a plane. The moon was here and a plane flew by really high up." So I
Yeah,
said, "That's a plane. That's not a plane because it doesn't act like a plane." And it doesn't fly, like planes don't fly in zigzags and all over the place, like they don't.
yeah,
So that's weird. Yours was a red light too.
yeah, and like constant we drove like 15 minutes to like really find the place to be under it and all, like like there's nothing here that holds this light in the air at that place for a fucking week,
Yeah,
like like I
maybe
took
it's us
pictures
weird
and videos
Canadians.
and we don't see the light anymore. It's like we're filming nothing. Like,
Maybe it's just us weird Canadians.
yeah. So yeah,
Oh no.
that's a missing kind of time, like a bit like you're talking about, because like what the fuck, like
Mhm.
where did that light go? Like I have the videos of it, but like
I believe you.
yeah, like
We're gonna have to compare videos when we're done
yeah,
the show. We have a question for you though, kind of interesting, Chris. You connect with ETs in the chair. So did with astral projection, or was it physical, or
it was
what kind of?
astral projection in the chair, like it's not like like Star Trek or something like that, but like yeah, like we were doing astral projection, and most of the kid that passed there like supposedly passed that way because like the main thing that were scaring us, like the psychic, like through the astral projection, is that we could get lost, and like that
That
like
can happen though. That really can happen if you get
that
really deep.
happened a lot there, and
Mhm.
like that was the main thing I think that was killing the kids were
Oh
like
my goodness.
through the astral projection they were like just empty bodies after like
That's what I know because I know people, myself personally, that when they go like into a trance and then they can astral project or even remote viewing or whatever, they usually have someone, and I would call it an anchor, someone that knows who that person is that's going into the trance, and to be able to be there as a lifeline or an anchor to pull
yeah,
them back if they get too deep.
yeah,
Mhm.
That's like a
Oh,
security to use, and that's a bit why, I did, everything happened at at Campiro. That like the legend is because of my the guy that was supposed to be there to guide me back wasn't there, and I lost trust in him. Yeah,
oh, how could you not? My goodness.
yeah.
Wow. And you
So
found your way back, obviously.
yeah. But
But did you go to other planets, like astral project through the Montauk chair? Like, did
yeah, I
you?
was going through they were sending us X place or X place, or and we had to well, it's not a big task. We're just thinking of it, and it's bringing us there. Like when you're doing this, so
So
yeah,
did you interact though, like with different off-world species, or did you
well,
have?
I interacted on a table, underground, not at Montauk though.
Mhm.
Um, and I was brought to an alien. He was just exploring me,
You
I was laying down on a table, and he was just exploring me.
were you on a ship? Were you on a ship when that happened?
No, underground,
Oh,
underground,
okay.
in Canada, actually, under the Bagotville, the dumb base under Bagotville, the Canadian Air Force base.
Okay.
There's a dumb base there with the huge tunnels, and that's where yeah,
They have aliens then underneath the base, is
yeah,
what
they're
you.
working with aliens. They have sections of tunnels, and it's darker where they are, and like
Well,
I
Paul,
got a
how I
carpenter
wish.
that brought me there, and don't be scared, and cause I wasn't scared. It was like Star Wars for me, cool,
Oh,
so
don't tell me you saw a Wookiee.
well, kind of mantis type,
Oh,
and
mantis.
yeah, so
What can you tell us about them? If you're able to, what can you tell us about them?
well, I had to lay on the table, and that. Uh, I just remember the my handler saying don't be scared, because see, there were nothing to be scared of, and reassuring me that wasn't a trauma. That was really interspecies exploring, I think, or
Mhm.
yeah,
How tall are they? I got a million questions. How tall are the mantis
I
in your
can't
mind?
say I was laying on a medical table,
Oh,
so
so
they
hard
were
to.
the same pretty much size as a human, because
Okay.
he wasn't next to a human to compare or whatever. My cup ender was behind, but yeah, same size, and while he was exploring me, they were making me look at the kind of a dentist light to so
Yeah, that
that's the
makes sense.
memories I have of
That
that.
sounds familiar. Yes. Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, just so that yeah, every time we were laying on table for to get checked up or whatever, we were laying down naked on the table, and they were asking us to look at the light and fixate the light, and at some point you don't see in the because the room is already dark, so when you imagine when you fix the light after, you don't see the detail. So that's moments that I don't have really much details because of the looking at
I
that
got you.
light. And
Mhm.
so yeah, but
So, but and you went to other planets. Like, did they use the Montauk chair for you? And whatever you
yeah,
can
that
answer, let me know. But even like to do some spy work or anything
yeah,
like that.
that's what we were doing there, on the chair, they were asking us to go and check this or that, and I don't want to specify
That's why I told you. Just say what you can. Don't. Yeah.
yeah, so but yeah, we were traveling through time and space to where they were sending us,
Did
and
you ever go back in time? Like, did they ask you to try to say change something? If you can't answer it, just say I can't answer it.
I
I
don't
have
have
so
any
many
reason.
questions.
No, I don't have any memories of that. Of
So it's
like,
always in the future then that they got you to project.
yeah, like the memories I have was exploring the future. Like,
That would make sense. Hmm.
and like there were machine that they brought to school, and we had to check in it, and like I went 3 times to look in it, okay, and every time it wasn't giving the same result, like like because we're looking at it until like the end of our life kind of thing, okay, and it was not always the same result. I don't know,
I
what
understand.
was changing,
I understand that.
but yeah, so and yeah, the
I
first
because to me, they're getting you to look. And the interesting thing why they use you to do this, because even with remote viewing, right? The past is the past. You could still go into different timelines and look at it, but the future isn't really set, right?
yeah,
Like, because we have free will, not really, but we do in a way that we can make choices, right? So the
yeah,
way you, and please correct me if I'm wrong. So what you explained is they get you to look in this machine, and but the it wasn't always the same thing you'd see looking into the future with the timelines. So to me, it almost sounds like you were exploring different timelines. Would that make sense to me? Why they didn't know?
yeah, through the multiverse, because
Yeah.
that's one of the thing like they taught us, and so yeah, like but the result, like, in my timeline, like in this timeline, yeah, like there were the three result, but like two were really pretty similar, and so yeah,
I hope they
that's
didn't have you view all the way to the end of your life. Did they have you do that?
yeah, that
That's
was like,
scary.
yeah, so that's fucked, but yeah,
But we
uh,
have free will, right? Like I've even seen this as a nurse. And, I always believe that we know the day we're going to be born when we come from where we come from. I believe I call it going back home. And
mhm,
then as well as when we leave. But I also know, talking to people that have had past life experience, like near death experiences and things like that, that even though that could be their exit point, and say they have a near death experience and they remember it, they could choose to stay or they could choose to go back. And that might have been their exit point. Should they choose and say, hey, I had enough here. I just want to stay back home. You could, or you could, not everybody has that option, but I've seen people that have, but it's still scary for that to see that, I would think. So,
yeah,
wow.
but I couldn't say because it goes so fast, through that machine, the lifetime, and I don't know how long I was sitting back behind that machine, but yeah, it goes fast, but I don't have the memories of events, or but I have kind of the result at the end, of those three different timelines, or
Mhm.
yeah, so it
So,
was something weird. Those machine, I think it's chronovisor, something like
oh,
that.
why I just literally was going to say that. I
So
literally popped in my head.
yeah,
So our friend Augie Nost, who we've talked about, has got Broadcast Team Alpha. I actually have saved one of his videos and write up about the chronovisor because he has one and he has used it. He's talked about it on past shows of mine. He used to come on a lot the first couple of years I was on, and he's talked about that, and including, and he doesn't remember when I reminded him about this. One of my shows he was talking about, he's from Norway, and the thing to be would, it was just his mom and him, and he should have taken over the farm in Norway. This was what the tradition was. And he talked about, he is positive looking back as a little boy. He had these very two strange looking men, he said, and Augie's got a little longer hair, shorter over the ears,
yeah,
and wears glasses. Well, you know what he looks like, but for
yeah,
people listening, and he says he is positive that he, as an adult, visited himself as a young child to to tell him the life that awaited him.
Yeah.
It's possible. So, did you
It's
think,
very
hun,
possible.
I just thought that was so cool. And then I
Yeah.
reminded him of that. And he goes, "Did I tell you that?" I go, "Yeah, you did. You did." He talked
Yeah.
about a lot of things that we just get deep in discussion, right? And he'd say, "Did I really say that there?" Yeah, you did.
This
It was the
is
truth. But
very, very possible.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So let's go through some of the comments here because I have another one. Well, maybe before I go to the comments. So I know that you had Joe McMoneagle from the CIA, and that's the original remote viewing team with the
Yeah.
government. I forget the
Stargate.
project.
Yeah.
What was the project name again? I forget what it was called.
Stargate.
Stargate. Thank you, Project Stargate. So when you first told me this, and I think it was off air, I said, "Oh my gosh, I'm so disappointed." I said, because I just watched like a 6-hour interview with him on
Yeah.
Sean Ryan's podcast, and you told me he did nothing bad to you. He just came
No,
to.
like he was just a teacher. Like he was sent to school with another guy of Stargate, and
Mhm,
they each had a class
mhm.
to take care of. And like I had the chance of being trained by Joe McMonteagle, like for the
Yeah.
remote viewing part. Great guy, nothing to do with the abuse,
Mhm.
just a gentleman. So like that's what I want to specify. Like
That's why I brought it up.
I'm not
Because,
mixing this with
mhm.
breaking this reputation, this guy reputation. He was so nice with us and like patient guy and like interesting class and like yeah. So I
Well,
have great memories of that. So
the audience seems to have a lot of curiosity about remote viewing. I've had a few different people on. So, but the question I was going to ask you before, and we will get your comments and questions, is when you were being used, like being taught use, well, I guess that's probably
yeah.
a word too, but you were taught to psychic abilities, astral travel, remote viewing. When you were using the Montauk chair, was that the first thing that they used? Like, what order did it all
I
fall
think
in?
it
Like,
was to amplify the effects. The chair
okay,
was to amplify the effects of all this. You know, like we were trained like elsewhere, and after we were being when we were performing from the first training, we were brought to the Montauk chair, and it's not everybody that was brought there because but yeah,
well,
like
you were the 1%, right? Like, if I remember correctly, that made it through
yeah,
and had a lot of the skills that they try. And you didn't never have said that to me with any ego or anything like that. To me, you've just expressed gratitude that my God, thank God I made it through, right?
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
So, you guys, I always get so in depth in these conversations and I forget. So, I was supposed to do it at the top of the hour. But if you guys are just tuning in, you are listening to UFO Paranormal and United Public Radio Network. This is the Angel Rock, and I'm your host, Lorilei Potvin. And this is our special returning guest. And I'm sure I'll have him back because there's more than enough to talk about. This is Chris Laterreur, and he's one of the boys of Montauk. And please stay tuned because we still got some more to talk about. And if you are, you can listen to us on 105.3 FM out of Mississippi and 107.7 FM out of the beautiful city of New Orleans, Louisiana, where we are broadcasting out of. And both Chris and I actually are Canadians. I'm also going to throw in the new show Thursday night, Beneath the Hollow Moon, with the amazing Carrie Lynn Shellhorn and myself. We're both hosts of our own shows on the network. Carrie Lynn has Spirit Switchboard on Fridays, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You guys don't want to miss it. We got all kinds of fun stuff planned for you. So let's go through the comments here, Chris. Hang on. We've got somebody over on Twitch, and I see you. I don't have the ability to block you, so please stop posting what you are, or I really will just cut the feed over there if that's what you want to do. You're welcome to join the conversation, but stop spamming, please. Okay, let's go through here.
What's that?
Huh?
Spamming. What?
Yeah, he's doing all kinds of stuff in here, and I understand you got a business, dude, but this isn't the place for it. So we have who popped in here that I just saw. I want to say hi to. Hang on, Heidi Gall. She's here, and she says, "Hi, Chris and Laura Lee. Much love from Boulder." She says, "I'm late, but I changed my phone. Oh, charge my phone, and finally I had 15%. Well, I'm glad you joined us, Heidi." Hang on, I'm going to keep going through. There was a comment here. I think it was by Kevin. I wanted to bring up. Here it is. He says, a friend of mine, I go I think I go for drives with, and often the weird and strange happens to us. Kevin, you have so many. He's out on the East Coast in Canada. Oh my gosh, Chris, he has like strange, weird, unusual stories. And you guys, like I told you before, even if you, or we've mentioned it last Thursday, if you have stories of the strange or the unusual, please send them to Carrie Lynn or I. I didn't pull up her email, but you can even messenger them to us. We will both get them there. We're on most social media platforms. I know I am, because we want to hear about them. So Kevin continues. One time we were driving for hours, and then we looked at the time and it was only a half an hour in real time and gas. Wow. What do you, that's like weird stuff does happen, right? Like how could you go for hours, yet your watch says you only been gone half an hour and the gas proves that you only gone half an hour too.
Yeah, that's weird. Yeah.
I Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, that's weird. I love that one. Like like when you see the gas didn't really it got impacted and all. Like, where did
Where
how
did
did
I
it
go?
happen?
Where?
Yeah, like that's it. So
And he
yeah,
wasn't by himself either. So you got somebody that's with you that experienced it. So you know you weren't crazy. You know you didn't dream it. Not that I would ever think that of you, Kevin. But my point is, like, you've got a witness, right? So you
yeah,
know two
yeah,
people
like
experienced the same thing. Hang on, I'm
yeah,
getting through here. Oh, and then he says, and we went, sorry, and something, and from where we went and back would have taken at least 3 hours. Wow.
yeah. That's weird.
Okay, I'm just going by here. Sorry, trying to filter through the comment. Oh, Miss, you're getting ready for work. Well, I hope you have a good day at work. I know it's Tuesday in Australia. Stay warm. I know you guys don't get the cold weather we do here in on the northern hemisphere, especially in Canada and the northern states, but and anywhere else it gets snow in winter, but it still cools off. So let's see. Oh, Heidi says she's watering the flower seedlings. Well, that's good. We got snow today. How about you, Chris?
Rain.
Did you?
Yeah,
I could
rain.
not. I could not believe this. We were going to my partner Dell's mom's for Easter, and one of us is sitting in the passenger seat, the other one driving, obviously. And so I pull out the snow brush. I go, "We're not going to need this anymore. Let's put it in the back seat." And as soon as I said that, I went, "Oh my goodness! I think I jinxed it." Sure enough, 5 a.m. starts snowing.
Yeah, yeah. It snowed this week too here. But like yeah, but we're getting summers here.
Eventually,
Oh yeah.
okay, hang on. So Kevin then added, I think some events are set while others can be altered. And I agree 100%. What do you think, though, Chris? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, like you can change certain you can't change certain element in the timeline or but like I don't know like to what extent you can't like like because you're not supposed to play in those but like when you look into the like multiverse thing like there's a place where this all makes no sense so
Well,
like you
let's
gotta
talk about that. Let's talk about that. Can you tell us more about that then, what you
well,
know of the multiverse?
yeah like it's like different place like you're like you could be like something else totally different like in different like it's special like like there's I think 11 by 11 uh different dimensions or like it's like a square like yeah like
But where is it? Like, do you astral project to it? Where, like, is it different from, say, different timelines? Like, what's your thoughts on it, or just that you experienced it, but you can't really explain it?
yeah it's hard to explain it's like you gotta look at it from a bigger picture like zoom it out like kind of thing to and I think you gotta like deal with the close to death experience too to like be able to swap of
Okay.
like yeah, I think it's all related, like it's something like needs to be like explored more, like like the how to, like, because like there's different multiverse, there's different, like yeah,
Okay,
like
so what kind of different multiverse do you mean then? I'm so
like
curious. I got a
like
million.
you can be something super good in one, like in one of the timelines or whatever, and like it be like the complete opposite, like in the other, like
Mhm.
it's yeah.
Okay, so what I've heard is that even if we dream something or remember something or we see ourselves doing something, even when we worry about something and our situation changes.
Yeah,
Oh, let's take a world event, not just a personal person. So, say the year 2000, Y2K. Remember, all the computers were supposed to stop because I don't want to get morbid here, but say it's that. That's pretty innocuous, right? And everybody was prepared. I remember, I don't know if you do, but back when 1999, New Year's Eve, and it was
oh
switching over
yeah,
to the
it's
year
the end of the
2000.
world, like yeah, like
Yes, but it didn't happen. But
no.
I've heard with the multiverse theory that there is a version of that where that actually happened and everything in between. Would I be right with what I'm sharing, or is it different than that? I could love to hear what your thoughts are.
It could be like like because like things are different, like in those other universe kind of thing, like so yeah, it could be
Yeah, it
like
gets you thinking, right? And you're going, could
yeah,
it be? Couldn't it be? And then it usually, when I start talking about time, and I love talking about time and dimensions and portals and things like this, eventually my mind just goes finally, like, I can't handle anymore. It's like looking
yeah,
in a mirror, seeing a mirror, seeing a mirror, seeing a mirror, seeing a mirror.
yeah, like yeah, between two mirrors and like looking at it, like
Yeah,
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 the
yeah,
deepest you can, yeah.
yeah.
So multiverse is a bit like that, but yeah, like I think it's
I know you try and wrap your mind
yeah,
around
to
it,
put it
right?
in
And it's like,
words and like yeah,
boom.
yeah, yeah, it's yeah.
Okay, I've never asked you this, and you know what I'm like. You've known me long enough. I just get these questions popping in my head.
Yeah.
So, with all the experiences that you have and have had as a child going through this programming and the things that you're remembering, do you did they ever expose you, like we talked about SRA, for people that don't know what that is, as satanic ritual abuse, and it's horrific. But did you ever experience what people collectively believe to be the devil or Satan or all these negative things that come through? Like, I had an experience in my previous home, something that I identified itself in a dream like 17 years ago that I remember like it was 10 minutes ago, a demon. I can tell you what he was wearing, what he looked like. And then he gave me his name and spelt it for me and his animal form. He was trying to get me to follow him, and I told him in no uncertain terms it's not radio friendly what I told him to do twice. And then all heck did break loose in my house after that. Now I was forced. I say I'm a retired Catholic. I was forced to go to Catholic school, go to church every Sunday. I don't know the Bible well, but I did go to church. And like I say, Catholic school, but I'd never heard this name before. That this It was a man, but he didn't look like a normal man, but it was a man. The name he had given me, and I looked and looked and looked, couldn't find anything. I was helping somebody 5 years later with something dark, and
And this
there.
flashback pops out.
Well, I was just going to say though, but what happened was all of a sudden, right there on the page, because she had been given a name in a dream, and the name I'd been given 5 years before, the exact spelling, the animal form, everything right there on paper. I still am astounded. Like, this was like 5 years prior in a dream that I got all this. So my
Yeah.
thoughts are, did you experience any of these things, or what's your thoughts? Like, can you say it's real? Is it just religious dogma? Where do these things come from?
Yeah, like
Like, say
uh
demons. Like, did you
yeah, like
experience?
because we were used as like vessel for like those demons and stuff, like in the SRA, like they were.
So they're real then, in your experience, they're real.
Oh yeah, it's not just mental. Like there's way
Oh,
deeper.
I
Like
had physical injuries. My whole family did. But my
yeah,
dad,
like this
15
can
people.
impact your life like big time. Like you have to have the biggest respect for that. And like stuff you yeah, some stuff is like I don't even want to say names of like certain rituals, or because it's fucked up. Like
But it's
it's
real. Like,
scary.
real.
It's real.
Completely real.
It's real. Like it can destroy a life. And
Oh, we got lots of questions for you. Kurt, you asked if he met Ingo Swann at all, or Hal Putoff, I think it is. I'll put it up there for a sec. We got lots of questions. So
no, like me, it was like
I think they were before your time. Like,
yeah, like I heard about Ingo Swan, but
mhm,
uh, like it wasn't one of the teachers that were like from like Stargate in the school. Like
mhm.
yeah, so
This is a good question, Mish. Any thoughts on the Pope passing away? Interesting timing. Easter is finished, and it says, bam, so is the Pope. What's your thought? I have thoughts on it. I was discussing earlier, but not on air.
my thoughts are like the Pope was dead a while ago.
I
Like
think he was. Mhm.
and like they were just like holding this for the right timing or like for the right date and
Yeah.
like but like yeah, he was dead for
Yeah, I
like
think it was. Well,
that's
I've
what I
seen,
felt.
sorry?
That's what I felt like when they were starting to talk about
Mhm.
like I yeah, so
I also have seen video of the Pope standing in the Vatican waving, and as he turns, poof, gone. So to me, I'm gonna bet that was a hologram. Have you seen
mm,
that video?
no,
Yeah,
no,
he's at the well, it's not the oval window. I don't know what it is, but when he does the Pope will come out and after Mass, Sunday Mass, and wave to the
yeah,
crowds, and he's there. I'll see if I can find it. I'll try and send it to you. But
yeah, I'd like to see that.
yeah,
Mhm.
he turns around, and all of a sudden he disappears, like he's gone.
That's yeah, that probably like a hologram. Like they have the technology, if you back up in 1983, like if they had the access to this technology, imagine how they like improved it and like since. So like the to say it's an hologram and like the quality of it must be like a bit like the quality of a TV compared from
Yeah,
the 80s to like today. Like you can like pick up the little hairs of somebody's face, like watching TV. Like
I think I found it. If I found it, I'll play it. I can play it.
yeah,
I don't think this isn't the one I've seen. There's one that's really close up, a different angle. Let me
okay,
see. Sorry, I'll see if it shows them. If this is the one I'm thinking of, and just watching. This isn't the one I saw. Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. But I saw it straight on. Okay, I will play it. It's not very long.
yeah.
As we're saying, hi Howie O'Dell. We're going to give him a big shout
Hey,
out.
how
He's
are you?
got the Rift Nation network. You've been on Howie's network
Yeah,
before, right? Yeah, I thought
yeah.
so. You guys check him out. He's got a great network that really supports our network. Did you send me a photo?
No,
Oh my gosh, it just said you just sent me a photo. That is really interesting.
are you
We'll have to,
serious?
uh-huh. Let's see what that is. That's interesting. Uh I don't know.
Well,
Oh, I know what you sent me. I know what you
oh
sent me.
yeah, I see it, but like that was like an hour ago, 2 hours ago when we were talking. Like
Maybe we're having a time slip. I don't
yeah,
know.
and I didn't even send it. Like I had it. So that's weird. That's fucked.
Well, be careful with the F words, but yeah,
Sorry. Yeah,
it's okay.
that's
Yeah. I
weird.
know. Like that's
Yeah.
what I said. Did you just send me something? And then it just let's see, did I get something? I didn't get something else. Yeah, because I go, isn't that weird? Okay, I'm
How
gonna
did it
pull this
stand
video.
by itself? Because
I
like I
have
was thinking about it, but I wasn't sure if it was the attachment or a picture, so I had to, and I didn't send it. So how did it
I
send by itself?
I am going to tell you, I have had the strangest, weirdest things going on. Like I tell people, the reason why I voice message people is because, yeah, they're bringing up a chat now from the weekend that I had closed on Facebook. I have had the weirdest, strangest things, and I jokingly say I think my phone is possessed because it doesn't matter if I use dictation, it doesn't matter what I use. Um, I'll spend more time having to go back to correct everything in the chat. So, and I talk to so many people in the daytime that it's like, dude, I'm going to voice message you. I just can't, like, otherwise I waste so much time.
Yeah,
Okay, let's
yeah.
see if we can pull this up. Give me a sec. Oh, I better open it first. Hang on. Let's open this. It's not very long. It's on YouTube, I think. Is it YouTube? The one I saw is head on. Okay, hang on. I got it. Give me a sec. Gotta go back. Okay. Um, hopefully you're going to show this the way I want to show this. Hang on. Let's see. Give me one sec here. No, it's showing the wrong thing. I want to be showing the other thing. So give me one sec, guys. Sorry. Trying to talk and do buttons here. So we'll remove that. We'll try that again. We'll open the wrong window. Okay. Where are you? Oh, God. No, it doesn't want to show me anything. Guys, give me a sec here. It will not let me get rid of this. Stop screen. Yes, stop it. Good. Okay, try that again. I'm going to talk to myself while I'm doing this, I guess. Okay, let's see. Video shows Pope disappearing. Okay. Let's get it up there. So many buttons to push, you guys. Sorry. Be patient. Okay, it's on the screen. So get ready. This is small. The one I've seen is a different angle, head on, and
Okay.
you can see it clear as day. So it's not very long. So hang on. I'll see if I can make it bigger. It's not that slow. Keep watching. And they got it in slow motion. Okay, anytime now, guys. There. Did you see
Oh
it?
yeah, that's a montage. That's not a. Yeah, that's like that's an
Crazy, huh?
hologram for sure. Yeah.
The one I saw though, I don't it literally was from the front. Like somebody was filming it. They put that in slow motion because it was quick. Like he literally turned around and went poof, he was gone. So what do you think that
Yeah.
was?
Oh yeah, that's like clearly like an hologram, like for sure. Like that's the kind of technology they would be like. The level of quality they would be like if you compare with like what they were in the 80s. So
Mm-hmm. Well,
yeah, man.
my
I,
theory is that what we, meaning the public, everybody, the 99%, that whatever we're aware of, the people that really run the pull the puppet strings will say they're 50 to 100 years ahead in technology and
oh yeah,
everything. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
yeah,
So we got to say, oh, Heidi just said, hi, Howie, were your ears ringing?
yes.
Lorilei was just talking about the spammer. And I said, flush. Well, I don't have mod. I'm going to have to get at it as a mod on Twitch. That's the only thing. Then I can flush. But the person just kind of pieced out because I called them out, I think. And I told them they could stay if they behave themselves. We like people here, but we don't like when people do what they were doing. So Julie Jean Bassett is here. Julie Jean Bassett, were your ears ringing? Because I was talking about you earlier. And everybody, if you have any problems with your animals, you need a communicator. She is phenomenal. I've taken her animal communication course. She can work with
Nice.
animals across the Rainbow Bridge, Earthside, as well as people. She is an incredible shamanic practitioner, and I do need another session with her soon. It was life-changing, the one I had about 8 months ago. So check her out at juliejeanbassett.com. And she's a big supporter of all you guys are big supporters of our network. You just don't come to my shows. I know you go to many of everybody else's, and we love that. We love our audience. So thank you. Let's see if we didn't, I don't know if we missed anything. Did you see how fast this went? Like we literally only have been probably just under 10 minutes left. Like that just flew by for me. I don't know about you,
Yeah,
Chris.
like phew, like missing times
I
on
know.
camera. Yeah, yeah,
So Kevin says, and he's on the east coast of Canada. He said,
yeah.
insane wind last night, snowstorm last week. Now it's all melting. Yeah, ours is too. Is yours melting? Because you're out west, right?
Oh yeah, like there's no more snow like in the fields, or
Mhm.
it was just like snow for a few hours, and after like it gone. Like it was 20 degrees all week last week, pretty
Oh,
much.
nice. That means it's coming my way and
Oh
Kevin's
yeah,
way.
yeah, yeah,
So Heidi is in Colorado. She said insane wind here today, and the solar weather is very active and intense. Uh, I'm going to get, because Connie's got a question for you. So Kevin's, I call him by his muggle name. I say, he says, can you alter some events, but key things, oh, you can alter some events, but key things want to happen. So it will play out and ultimately said key events will still happen. I agree. I agree with that. Don't you?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But like in the results, like it was like like the ending was different. Like in two of the, it was pretty similar, but the other one it was totally different. So like yeah, it's yeah, like
That would really mess with your mind, don't you think?
I don't know what part is like messing with our minds, or like but like they were good at it, like because I could talk about this, like so many things, but when you add up
I'm going to
everything,
have you back because
yeah,
every time I have you on, it is never the same show. We
yeah,
talk about completely different things.
yeah,
And I want your story out to get out there for you because more people need to hear about this because people think these kind of things don't exist.
yeah, and like it's at some point it's like people have to wake up, it's when you seen it from your own eyes, like you get stuck a bit like me, like like from like this needs to be cleared of our lives. Like
Goes.
we need to like all get together, plant stuff, like build a new world, get rid of those the
The elites. Well, I don't like
yeah,
calling them either. You know what I
yeah,
call them actually when I'm not on air? I call them I hate when people do this, but for people listening, the air quotes, the family.
yeah, yeah,
That's
that's it. Like the world can be and will be like super nice, but like we're in that part of time that like it's the mass wake up that has to happen, and the mass
I think it is.
unification,
I
like
think it is, and it's not going to happen to everybody. And then we got a question from Connie. I think more people are starting to ask, and my partner Del and I just had this conversation a couple days ago, and maybe even a week ago. And it's not the first time. We've forgotten as human beings to ask why. Right? When you're a little kid, and this is his analogy he's used for years, and he's right, I think, is you get little kids around the age of 3 and they get through that phase and I think they went
yeah,
through it, but they go, "Why?" And you tell
why
them and they go, "But why?
everything,
But why? But why?" And then they go to school and they
yeah,
ask why and they're told that's why. And even if they still ask, they say, "Because I said so." But that's the way it is.
yeah,
And
they're
then
breaking the kids
we
there.
go through the all of life, right? And then we're taught to be followers. There's always somebody, whether it's a boss or something, unless you go into business for yourself, I guess, right? But people have forgotten to ask why. Because I think that's really important. Like it would give us answers to some of the horrors you've experienced, other things that people have experienced. And instead of wanting to, rock the boat, a lot of people will just go with the program instead of saying, but why?
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, because like our story, like to the people, the other victim, and like if people were talking about this over a dinner, or like family and people, like people like would stop eating, like, and would feel bad, like so uh it's to find a way to get the people to like talk
At
about it,
least
but
be
like
open-minded to hear it.
yeah, yeah, like and like there's better times than others to like approach people with this, but at some point like there's no more time to like not educate people. Like people need to be aware too, like even if it's like breaking their little comfort bubble and all, because like how can you have a comfort bubble when this is happening next to you? Like are you really that level of person that's gonna just turn your head and like look elsewhere because like
Mhm.
you want to have your comfort little bubble? Like
Or they say it doesn't affect me, it's none of my business. But the thing
yeah,
is,
like
again, if they asked why somebody in the comfort bubble next to you, and God forbid, saw some of the things you went through, the
mhm,
first thing I'd be asking, well, there's a lot of things I'd be asking, but why? Who's doing this? I'd have so many questions, right? And I
yeah.
think people are starting to shift, but we're a long way away yet. Let's get to, we haven't got, every time we get to the end of the show, we start getting really deep and stuff. That's why you're going to have to come back. And I know you will. I'm putting you on pressure, but I'm pressuring you, but I know you'll come back, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So Connie wants to know, my question is, do you think the program has successfully succeeded with its goals? Did they actually train these people to do what they wanted? Great question, Connie.
Yeah, like I think like yeah, for the main part is really working. The program is really working. Like it's not everybody that were like recruited in MK that were like meant to be spies, assassins, and all. Like some are like like in medical field, some are police, some are like like politics and stuff like that. Like we're all like preset to like in the way like the direction they wanted us to take, and like like they're playing the cards and making that everything happens
You're
in a
pulling
certain
the
way.
puppet strings.
Yeah, like so
Hmm.
but at some point like anybody that's a good investigator, like it's easy to put this down and like stop this. Like anybody that wants to like get this done is gonna get done. But like people have to like unite, and because like
Because it
somebody might.
hasn't stopped, has it? It hasn't stopped.
No,
This,
no, it's still going on, and like yeah, like it's just people are turning their head, like like, but at some
or
point
they don't believe it. I just want to say hi to Mark Eddy. I see you're here. Welcome. Because we didn't touch on this tonight, but I'm hoping that we can at one time. We'll have to be careful with the words that we use. And it starts with an A, and then it's got DRENO, and the last word is Chrome.
yeah,
And I had this conversation with the person that did my tattoo that refused to believe me that this kind of thing existed. I told you about it before we came on the
yeah,
air. And he said the only time that people ever learned about this substance was when so and so wrote the book Living and Dying in LA. And I said, that's not true. We had a very interesting conversation. And he said, well, there isn't even a chemical compound for it. And I said, there is. And I found it. And I said, it's not my job to convince you. But if anything I have said to you has resonated, please dig deeper. Now, I don't know if he did or not because he was very skeptical. At least he was aware of it, but he thought it was completely fictitious, the way it's harvested, a whole kind, synthetically made. So I'm hoping maybe the next time you come on, we can talk a little bit about this because people need to be aware of this even more, like not really getting more, but really digging maybe a little deeper into the SRA and what that is and why it plays a part in the MK Ultra. What do you think?
yeah, like
To
I
even
think
talk,
it's a
people
good
need to
thing
hear
if
these things. Hmm.
yeah we could like talk about this, because like people need to hear that part that sucks. Like it totally sucks. Like SRA, like you don't want to hear this, but like it's fucking going on, and like you have to hear it to like be aware. Like it's like, oh no, like you're on the
There's
train
no
track and
way
like you're
nobody,
just looking
yeah,
that
would ever
way,
do that.
okay, and you don't know that this way there's a train coming, and like somebody's trying to tell you like, hey, there's a train coming. Ah, no, 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 look, it's nice, and you just blindfolds like looking one way. You gotta like check your surrounding 360, like,
Mm-hmm.
and like
Well, I'm going to read some comments. I wish we had more time. I see BM Minaj here. Do you have an Apple Podcast or Spotify show? Yes, we do. Every one of our shows of every host on the network is carried anywhere where podcasts and talk radio is carried. Our shows are backed up on YouTube, on Facebook, everywhere. And we do broadcast to every country in the world. We only got just a minute or two, so I want to read because I think this is a really nice comment. Kurt says, Chris, thank you for your time, brother. Awesome chat and very interesting information. Lorilei, great show. I'll tune in for the next one. I got another another podcast I got to help moderate coming soon. And then I don't know, there's a symbol, but it says you both. Thank you for joining us. Chris, we could talk all night. Like I said, the first time I talked to you, I think it was 5 or 6 hours. It wasn't on air. But okay, so where can they buy the book? You're donating some of the proceeds, you said, right?
Yeah, there's $1 of each book sold that are going like towards like other victims of MK Ultra and like other survivors, like to help them, like give them a better life quality. And yeah, like the only place available is lulu.com for the book, and it's Terra at Montauk, and yeah, people can get a lot of information. People that have doubts also that they've been in a project like that, reading, like it's all the little details that will trigger your memories, and like it's like that it works like the best way, like to, if you want to know, and after, like once you have like a few confirmation, after you invest for like a regression hypnose like I did, and like you go through it. But like I think that's the best solution to figure out, like if you've been in the program, because so many people think they've been in it. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I want to say hi to Joe Fox. He just popped in. I'm glad, but I hope you can go back and have a look. Now, you guys, if you just joined the show tonight, this is the third time I've had Chris on. So even go to my YouTube. It's the easiest way. I don't have a big channel, but under the live tab, you'll see the background. Chris has got the background of his book. I've used the same type of thumbnail, and you go back and listen to some of the other episodes because Chris has a fascinating story, and I will have him back to continue it because David Charles just said, I got to go up a little bit. Everybody's saying what a fantastic show. He said, I reposted this to my post. Having the two of you in one episode has to be a blessing in itself. My monthly Wi-Fi allowance is at a minimum, but after midnight it's free. So I hope to watch it later on today. Live long and prosper
Cool.
to you both. Right back at
He's
you.
an amazing guy. Yeah.
Okay, so if you guys are in, don't forget Chris's Substack. Is it under your name? And then I got to promote that. We got a minute left. Oh, we're
Yeah.
almost out of time. So your
Yeah.
Substack under Chris Laterreur?
Yeah, Chris Laterreur, and like there's a lot of like interviews on it, like a lot of info on MK, yeah, like people, it's a good place to start, like digging into this and like find information. Like I think.
Okay, so check that out, you guys. We got the new show coming up Thursday night, 7:00 Eastern Standard Time with Carrie Lynn Shellhorn and myself, Beneath the Hollow Moon. I forgot to check who's coming on next Monday on the Angel Rock, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's great. You ever want to get a hold of me, readings, I do energy healing. I do all kinds of spiritual teaching and mentoring. Get a hold of me on facebook.com/Angel Rock. Stay tuned. Light gate on probably right now. I'm getting my butt out of here with Dolly Saffron and Preston Dennett. You guys, love y'all. Happy Easter if you celebrate. And Chris will be back, I promise you. And we'll see you on Thursday, everybody. Much love and light.
Thanks, everyone.